Hello, today we are going to talk about the key procurement KPIs every organization or every business should monitor. So these are the key procurement KPIs like rate of emergency purchases, procurement cycle time, suppliers lead time, vendor availability, compliance rate, suppliers defect rate, PO and invoice accuracy, cost per invoice or PO, spend under management, procurement return on investment, price competitiveness, and total spend by vendor. So let's talk about uh, each of them in the coming presentation. This is a sample procurement KPIs spreadsheet which you can make for your company, and let's discuss this one by one, and also uh, I will explain you each of them in each when we are discussing each of this KPI. Okay, the number one is the rate of emergency purchases. So these are the purchases, those are unplanned orders which are acquired to prevent the shortage of the products or services. Basically, this metric is measured with the ratio of emergency purchases to the total number of purchases over a fixed period of time. So like you can see that it is the total purchases emergency purchases divided by the total purchases. So we got the percentage or the ratio. The next one is the procurement cycle time. It is the measure in hours or days from the time a purchase requisition is submitted to the time when it is transmitted to the vendor or contractor. So it's the time between the and a department submit the requisition to procurement department, and when the procurement transmit the purchase order to a vendor. So this is like time the PO is transmitted to vendor or contractor minus the time a purchase requisition is submitted. You can see the, it is the time or in the days. So next is the supplier's lead time. This is the time, that amount of time that lapses between the time a supplier receive an order and the time when the order is shipped. So this KPI is often measured in days. Vendor lead time starts with the availability of confirmation and ordering and ends with the delivery of goods. So lead time is equal to delivery time, goods or services minus the order time. So you can see in the bottom that it is like time of delivery minus time of order, so it's like 1 month. So the next is the vendor availability. Basically, it is used to measure the vendor's capacity to respond to the emergency demand. This procurement KPI helps organizations determine the degree of reliability they can place on a vendor. So vendor availability percentage is measured by the ratio of the number of the time items available on vendor sites to number of order placed with the suppliers. So vendor availability ratio is equal to the number of times item available on the vendor sites divided by the number of total order placed with that particular supplier. So for example, in the bottom we have placed 10 orders, and 8 was that the things was there, so it is like 80% ratio of vendor availability. Okay, the next is the compliance rate. It is understand if supplier fulfill our requirements. So this is the KPI which determine that supplier is fulfilling our requirement. So contractual and policy compliances are pivotal to ensure legal security. So the ratio of disputed invoice, these are the examples. The ratios of disputed invoices to the total invoices are the total difference between price paid and the price for. So according to me, compliance rate is equal to the number of non-compliances divided by the total number of orders. So if we place 10 orders to a vendor and 2 of the orders are non-compliant, so it is like 20% or 2 to 8 ratio. Okay, the next one is defective rates. Defective rate is used to evaluate the quality of the product procured. Defect rate is basically is equal to number of substandard product divided by the total number of units tested. So it is our internal things, how many we are testing and what is the rate of defect in that. So defect rate is also the cost of defective purchase divided by the total amount of purchase into 100. So for example, we place order for 100,000 and the 3,000 goods, $3,000 goods are defective, so it's like 3%. So this will tell us the defective rate of particular supplier. Next is this metric will help is PO accuracy. This metric will help business ensure whether the procured goods are delivered what was ordered or if it was delivered at the right time. So it is like deliver according to our PO or not. So the ratio of product service delivered outside the predefined service target. So what we were required, if it is outside of the something outside of our requirement, that is the percentage of errors like wrong or incorrect delivery divided by the total number of purchase order in a period of that particular time. So for example, if we place 10 orders and only one order is like not deliver outside the predefined, so it is like 10% or 1 into 10 1 into 9 ratio will be the for the PO accuracy. Okay, the next is a cost per invoice or purchase order. This is the cost of placing in a purchase order or handling a invoice. The cost spent per invoice and purchase order can vary from one organization to another depending on the factors that are including in this calculation. An organization that follows a manual approach will have higher processing cost when compared to the other organization that use a automatic process. So, for example, if in full year we spend like 10,000 rupees on the handling cost of invoice and purchase, and we place like 100 orders or POs, so that is like $100 rupees per invoice or purchase order. So this is not very significant KPIs in my opinion, because it is automatically generating everything. Okay, then comes this is another very important KPI, spend under management. So this is the percentage of procurement spend that is regulated or controlled by the management. So like spend under management is like under the management's budget. So as an organization spend under management rises up, its availability to optimize cost and forecast spend increases. So if we go over the management spend, that it might hurt our optimization of cost and our expenses. So SUM, like it called, total approved spend, that is direct, indirect and service related cost, minus maverick spends. Maverick spend is not, which is not approved or not planned. So this will be, so maverick spend divided over total approved spend. So the both way you can calculate that. So sum is equal to maverick spend over total spend. So you can see, for example, we are total spending 100,000 and like 8,000 is we spend out of planning or budget, so that is like 8% of our total spending. This is another KPI for procurement, that is like return on investment, is used to determine the profitability or the cost effectiveness of the procurement investment. This metric is best suited for internal analysis. So procurement return of investment is like annual cost saving over annual procurement cost. So for example, if we are we spend 100,000 and we save like 15,000, so it is like 15% we have saved the money, or the money we have invested is like we save like 15% of that. So this is another procurement. So we have to create a price competitiveness to break the monopoly of the suppliers and improve our quality. So price competitiveness can be measured by comparing the price paid with the published market prices list. So what is they are publishing, or what are their selling price, and then what is we paid after the negotiation. This, for example, if market price list is 10 rupees and we paid 8 rupees, so we are saving 2 rupees. So more the saving, more we are getting the price competitiveness. Okay, then another KPIs is like total spend by the vendor. So at the end of the year, at the end of the financial period we calculate that how much we spend with each vendor. So this is like calculating is then so because larger organizations often deal with many vendors, this increases the likelihood of not getting the best deals for each one. So calculate the total spend on each vendors and compare it with the goods or services delivered. So in this we are putting every KPI which we have discussed previously on that particular vendor against what we have spent, how it deliver, quality, quantity, competitiveness, we all check, and then we do the analysis of procurement department. So so I try to put all the procurement KPIs in Excel sheet, and I already explained this, that how you can make your own Excel sheet, and you know, and this by reading this or by seeing this, you can calculate or make your own procurement KPI Excel sheet, and what according to your priorities, according to what your objective of the organization is. So this will be, you can find out or you can calculate the procurement KPIs of your organization or how our procurement is working. So please, if you have any question, let me know, so I will be glad to answer this. It was like a brief brief discussion about all the procurement KPIs. So thank you for your time, and see you in next presentation.